And we're back, IGN Live, coming to you from Gamescom in Germany. Now it is time to check in with Sunset Overdrive. Ryan and James are here to give us the update. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
You brought a new trailer to Gamescom, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll take a look at that first before we jump into gameplay here. This trailer introduces a new character, is that right?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of new characters that we showed exclusively at Gamescom. And we're really telling the story here from the perspective of one of the survivors in Sunset City, Floyd, who you encounter in the game.
I see. So this is kind of showing how the whole outbreak happened, right?
Yes. And sort of talking about, how Floyd thinks he might have been able to prevent all this, and on top of that, some of the enemies that you're going to encounter along the way.
Yeah, so while we're here, we showed 7 new enemy types at Gamescom. Like this, you just saw the spawner, and you're seeing the flyer OD right now, or winger OD. And on top of new types of OD, there's not just basic mutants. We also have these Physco robots, and these are what Physco sent into the city, which they've quarantined to kind of wipe out all the evidence of Overcharge contaminating everyone. So you have these robots with rifles who are coming in and assassinating people. You're seeing a tank here. There's a bomber robot that sort of does artillery. There's a blade robot, and they completely change the way you play the game when you reach that point, because you now have this brand new set of enemies that has very different tactics and a lot of different skills.
Now, one thing to add here is that you are the hero in Sunset City. You get to be who you want to be, male or female. You can customize your character any which way. It is not RPG style, so we really just are all about freedom of expression, man or woman, whatever race you want to be. That's really important to us.
So did they not test Overcharge before they released it?
Well, they rushed it through the approvals process, and this is what happens when you do that.
There was something that went wrong, and the game will reveal what happened exactly if you read through all the detailed stuff.
We'll pull up some gameplay here in a second, but you guys announced this game last year at E3.
That's right.
Now it's almost here. October 28th in North America, 31st in Europe.
That's correct.
How are you guys feeling?
Fantastic. Yeah. It's been a great few days at Gamescom, showing off the game to press, and everybody who comes in contact with it is really surprised and delighted. We're excited because we feel like we're taking the traditional cover-based shooter, turning it upside down, smashing that concept to pieces, and bringing something new and fresh to the shooter and open world genre.
Sure.
We're rewarding you for constant movement, for bouncing, grinding, wall running, zip lining across this crazy world with overpowered weapons that Insomniac is known for, and of course our own signature brand of humor.
Sure. Is it playable here on the show floor?
Yeah, we've got our Chaos Squad playable on the show floor, and that's our 8-player co-op mode. Right. So you go online into Online City, you take your character from your campaign, all your weapons, all your clothing, your amps, which are your special abilities, and you do missions in the city with your friends, and then you ultimately defend your base. There's rewards you can only earn there, and you take all that back to your single-player game with you. So it's a lot of fun playable here, and people have been having a good time, had a huge line so far. So
you were saying you're rewarded for everything you do?
Yeah, I mean, like all your weapons level up, as you use them. Like they're always picking up cash and other items. There's collectibles all over the city. There's clothing to buy. There's new weapons to buy. There's amps to get. And then when you're playing Chaos Squad, every round you're hoping to win the round, so you'll get rewards as well.
So what's the progression of the game like? You take on quests, missions, and
it's similar to like an open world game that you played, where you're going to have like kind of a main storyline where things are going to be happening, but then along the way there's going to be other people you meet. So the storyline will kind of tell your story as the hero of Sunset City, but you'll meet these different factions like Troop Bushido. It's a group of Boy Scouts who a group of Adventure Scouts. They're not
Adult
Boy
Adventure Scouts.
Adult Adventure Scouts who got holed up in a Japanese heritage museum. And they fortified it and adopted the Bushido code. And so you meet them and you kind of learn what they're going through. Or there's a group called the Fargars, which is a group of LARPers, live action role players, who were in the park doing their live action role playing, and all of a sudden these mutants start attacking them for real. And they think they brought this on the city. And so now they're holed up inside the community center. So you meet these people, you do missions for them, you also meet sub-members, do quests, there's challenges, there's collectibles all over the city. So there's a ton of stuff to do throughout the game, and kind of that classic open world game where you can just kind of wander around and find stuff to do and explore.
This is actually one such mission where you're helping out the Fargarths. There's another faction of enemies here called the Scabs. They're sort of like the anarchist looters gone crazy on Horror Night. You know, that you have your survivors competing in different, working together in different ways, and then they have to compete against these scabs. And the scabs have fortified this roller coaster. You can see with armored emplacements here on the parapets. You were on this roller coaster trying to shoot down the roller coaster carts, blow up the castle parapets, and ultimately you were set to meet up with the Scab King, and he has the crown of one of the Fargarth leaders, so you were trying to help out the Fargarths.
Is there a story explanation for the rail grinding, why that's all possible?
No. Well, not really.
I mean, it's fine, I was just curious.
Other than the idea that in Sunset Overdrive, fun trumps realism.
Sure.
That is most important above all else. However, a life spent reading comics and playing video games seems to ironically serve you very well in this universe.
So for each of you, what do you think is the most fun thing to do in Sunset Overdrive?
I mean, I've been playing all week here in some meetings and stuff and showing stuff. Just the combat's really, really fun.
Yeah.
And if you like previous Insomniac games for their combat, this game is very fast, but you're kind of like, instead of like being strafing enemies, you're sort of serpentining through them, and you're wall running, you're grinding, you're air dashing, which is an awesome move, and switching between all these weapons, and sometimes you're having like a ton of enemies or different kinds of OD and Physico robots or multiple Physico robots, and it just is, the combat's really, really polished. It feels really good, and it's really intense.
How about for you, Ryan?
You know, I agree completely with James, and I'll take it in a slightly different direction. I love the humor in the game. We've done the same demo for dozens of times here at Gamescom, and we're still laughing at some of the same lines. And Insomniac's always been known for our signature brand of humor. What's been special to me has been watching how the European press have been really taking to the game as well, and couldn't be happier that the humor in the game is really global.
Yeah.
It's exciting for us, and it keeps us engaged after dozens of times playing the game, and we know it's going to do that for our fans as well.
Yeah, I actually read the ESRB rating description of the game, and it gives examples of content. And one of the lines that stood out to me was one character was saying, he's like, you were sending him on a fetch quest to get some drugs, and he's like, when I get back, we'll discuss why I'm angry, why you thought I knew where to get drugs.
Well, and we also, there's a great line at the end when you retrieve the object that we show in the mission. We're going off on this quest, and the main hero says, they're after me, lucky sword. It just never gets old.
There's a lot of big games coming out this fall, but none of them look like Sunset Overdrive, so congratulations on,
Thank you.
I know you guys are very near the end. It's out October 28th in North America, 31st in Europe.
That's right.
Exclusive on Xbox One.
Yeah, and a white Xbox One bundle too, so if you want a white Xbox One, you can get one with
that's
Sunset
a
Overdrive.
sexy console.
Here too.
Guys, thanks so much for coming by the show.
Thank you for having us. This is great.
Stay tuned, lots more to come still on day 2 of our live coverage from Gamescom presented by Dead Island 2 right after these messages.